Hi everyone, my name is Mark Prettyman, and today I'll be talking to you about my web map entitled Locations of Point Facilities in Delaware and Places with Populations Sensitive to Poor Air Quality. Point facilities, as are commonly known, are industrial, commercial, or institutional facilities which emit pollutants to the atmosphere. These facilities must estimate the emissions and report them to state agencies such as my own. The air pollution emitted by these facilities can be harmful to anyone, but they are especially harmful to those that are part of sensitive populations, which include the young, the old, or those with underlying medical conditions such as asthma. Knowing if there are sources of air pollution nearby and the amount of that pollution can be helpful to persons classified as sensitive populations. With my web map, anyone can identify points of sensitive populations, find the nearest point source emitting air pollution, and find out the amount of pollution they've emitted in Delaware. Now, in developing my web map, I know I wanted to have a relatively simple map that was able to serve up the multiple layers of thematic data. To do so, I decided to use Leaflet. Leaflet allowed me to exercise my novice JavaScript skills, and it also allowed me to easily serve up the data as GeoJSON files. I saw this as a benefit as opposed to referencing layers via URLs, as the URLs may no longer be active. They may be broken, which would negatively affect this map. The other benefit of using GeoJSON data is that, as we learned in the class, drawing vectors on the client side offered a benefit to the web map in terms of speed and performance. Now, as you can see in the legend, I have 8 different thematic layers of point data from facilities and then my sensitive populations. The 6 sensitive population layers I obtained from Delaware's first map open data portal. These were KML data that I converted to GeoJSON files using QGIS. As for the point facility data, I downloaded them from EPA. The data was downloaded as CSV files, which was then converted into GeoJSON using a combination of RStudio, LibreOffice Calc, and QGIS. Now, of course, with having the thematic layers, I need a base layer. The base layer I chose was OpenStreetMap, and I also created my own base map with TileMill. I have 2 boundary layers, a county layer or a municipal layer, which I can toggle on and off with a radio button. I also can toggle the different point emissions with a radio button, which I'll show momentarily. I can then individually toggle on or off the different layers for sensitive populations. Now, as you can see, there are 3 current representative markers on the map. These are clusters which represent the more than 600 data points in the map. As I click each of them, I go further into the map and zoom into areas which show more and more detail and show the thematic layers. In this case, I'll show Georgetown, Delaware. If I hover over one, you can see that it is a public school. If I click on it, it first shows the public school name, and then over here it will show what the name is, the address, the city, and the zip code. It also shows what the nearest point facility is, Purdue Georgetown, which is 1.57 miles away. Additionally, on the map, when clicked, it shows the closest point facility on the map with a pop-up. If I click anywhere outside of a singular point, everything goes away. Of course, I have the municipal layer selected. If I select the municipal layer, it shows that I'm selecting the town of Georgetown and its 2010 population. It also has a pop-up of information. Now, back to the sensitive populations. If I click any individual one, it shows what the nearest facility is. Now, granted, Purdue is closest to these. If I click others, it shows a different closest point. Now, when I select the facility itself, it shows what the facility is, a description of the facility, and what its emissions are. Now, one of the features I'd like to go more into is the interactive layer data. Now, to create this, I used a combination of the plugins Marker Cluster Layer Support and the Grouped Layer Control. What these do is that, as you can see, there are various clusters, but when I zoom out, there are quite a few numbers in different areas and municipalities. As I turn off the different layers, you can see that they decrease, meaning that the clustering is tied to which layers are active. I see this as a great benefit so that the clustering can represent what's actually being shown on the map. Now, if we go back into the city of Georgetown, we can see that the 2014 point facility is selected. In this case, Purdue Georgetown is here. Now, in the 2017 emission inventory, it's not. So when we click on a nursing home, it actually is set so that it only selects the current layer of point emissions which are there. So in this case, the closest nursing home, the closest point facility to the nursing home of Harrison House is Aloft Aerotex. And again, since I have a different base map, I have the Delaware base map created. I have a legend which pops up solely when I choose the self-created base map as opposed to OpenStreetMap. I know I'm a little over my time, but there was a lot in there. If any of you have any further information or comments, please let me know. Thanks. Have a great day.